Right Rangers, from humiliating defeats to sack rumors swirling around Philippe Clement, the drama at Ibrox is hitting boiling point, and I'm here to break it all down. We've got Chris Boyd blasting the team as a disgrace, whispers of Ianis Hagi packing his bags for Serie A, and even talk of Rangers missing out on their own Evan Ferguson. Oh, and if you thought the Old Firm clash was just another game, think again. Brendan Rodgers could have the final say on Clement's future. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll be asking yourself, how did it get this bad and where do we go from here? Chris Boyd's not exactly pulling his punches, is he? Calling Rangers away form a disgrace is about as subtle as a brick through your living room window. And honestly, he's got a point. 10 points from 24 on the road, 7 goals scored, and 8 conceded. It's not exactly the stuff of champions, is it? You'd not even back them with monopoly money, let alone stolen cash, as Boyd cheekily put it. The St Mirren shambles was just the latest in a line of away day disasters. 4 losses out of 8 on the road before the calendars even flipped to the new year. That's not the Rangers standard we know and demand. And let's not pretend St Mirren were playing like vintage Barcelona. They were just aggressive, organized, and up for it. Our lot looked like they'd rather be anywhere but Paisley. Now, Boyd's put a spotlight on Barron and Boardroom. These two were the summer's supposed big move, and yet they're being hooked at half-time in a game we couldn't afford to lose. Clement didn't mince his words either. Apparently, he could have hauled off 8 or 9 players at the break. Fair enough, but it doesn't scream confidence in your summer signings, does it? Boardroom, brought in for £3.4 million, is still struggling to justify that price tag. And Barron, he's gone from promising to peripheral in the blink of an eye. Meanwhile, it's the players Clement inherited, Nico Raskin and Danilo, who he's leaning on when things go belly up. Makes you wonder if the recruitment's been a case of tossing darts blindfolded at the transfer board. How many millions have we thrown into this squad in recent years, only to see the same issues rear their ugly heads? With Celtic coming to Rangers on the 2nd of January and an away trip to Motherwell looming, the pressure's boiling over. A 12-point gap is bad enough, but if Clement doesn't sort out this away form, the calls for his head might drown out the New Year's celebrations. Here's one for you. Has Rangers' transfer strategy in recent years been more of a hindrance than a help? And are the board to blame for putting Clement in this mess? It's not looking rosy for Philippe Clement, is it? After that Boxing Day debacle in Paisley, the knives are well and truly out, and it feels like the boardroom's been dragged into a game of stick or twist. 12 points adrift of Celtic at Christmas isn't just a gap, it's a canyon. And if things go pear-shaped against Motherwell, or heaven forbid, in the New Year's clash with them, Clement might be lucky to find his desk still in the manager's office. Andy Newport's right about one thing. The faithful at Rangers have lost patience. The St Mirren loss wasn't just a bad day at the office, it was a proper final straw moment for a lot of fans. But while the stands are baying for change, Patrick Stewart and Fraser Thornton, the new kids in the boardroom, seem to be holding off, at least for now. Maybe they're thinking it's a bit daft to bin Clement before the Old Firm derby, or maybe they're just worried about admitting they backed the wrong horse in October. To be fair, Clement's had some highlights, taking Celtic to penalties in the League Cup final and giving Tottenham a game might have made it seem like he was turning a corner. But in the league, where it really matters, the team's been flatter than a pint left out overnight. That loss to St Mirren wasn't just unlucky, it was amateur hour. A late winner conceded. It's like deja vu of all our worst nightmares rolled into one. Chris Boyd's calling for heads to roll, saying Clement's got 2 games to save his skin, and honestly, it's hard to argue with him. If we fall 15 points behind, that's season over, and Clement might as well start packing his bags. Here's one to stir the pot. Have Rangers dropped their standards so far that we're willing to keep a manager who's already 12 points behind Celtic, or is it time for the board to grow a backbone and make the tough calls? It's an interesting debate, this. Evan Ferguson, the young Irish hotshot from Brighton, would certainly bring some star power to Rangers, but would he be the answer to our long-term issues up top? On paper, a loan deal for a player like Ferguson might sound ideal, especially considering his Premier League pedigree and international experience. But let's be honest, why go shopping for a short-term fix when you've got a lad like Zach Lovelace already waiting in the wings? Lovelace is no stranger to pressure, making a senior debut at 15 for Millwall. That's proper sink or swim stuff, and the boy swam. Now he's 18, back to full fitness and banging them in for fun in the B team. He's shown flashes of his potential in the first team too, like that cameo in the Europa League. Pairing him with Hamza Agamane, who's already turning heads, could give Rangers a front line that's not just deadly but also built for the future. It's got the makings of a partnership that could cause nightmares for defenses across Scotland and beyond. The question is, though, does Philippe Clement have the patience to nurture talent like Lovelace, or will he look for an immediate solution in Ferguson? It's a classic dilemma, short-term success versus long-term planning. With the January window approaching and the pressure mounting on Clement to deliver results, you can't help but wonder if he'll take the cautious route or roll the dice with the youth. Here's a thought to spark the conversation. Should Rangers focus on developing our own talents like Lovelace and Igaman, or does the club need to gamble on proven quality, even if it's only a short-term loan deal like Ferguson? Well, Adrian Mutu's not exactly hiding his intentions, is he? Telling Ianis Hagi to pack his bags and head off to Genoa like it's the golden ticket to revive his career. Mutu seems convinced Serie A is the place for Hagi to find himself, but you've got to wonder, what's his angle? Is this about Hagi's career, or is Mutu just stirring the pot to help out a fellow Romanian businessman in Dansuku? Now let's talk about Hagi. There's no denying he's had his moments at Rangers. He's got a silky touch, can unlock defenses with a pass, and he's banged in some big goals for us. But confidence, that's been the issue since his injury woes. He's not looked the same player, and he's struggled to nail down a starting spot under Clement. The question is, do we keep faith and give him the minutes to rebuild himself, or do we cash in and let him try his luck elsewhere? Genoa, with their Romanian connections, might seem like a good fit for Hagi on paper, but Serie A is no picnic. It's a league where technical players can shine, sure, but you've also got to graft like mad. If he's lacking confidence here, would a move to Italy solve that? Or could it be a case of out of the frying pan into the fire? Here's one to get the comments section buzzing. If Ianis Hagi leaves Rangers for Genoa, would we be losing a creative gem too soon? Or is it time to move on from players who haven't delivered consistently? Barry Ferguson's nailed it here. If Rangers don't get a centre-back through the door by the time Big Ben chimes in the new year, we might as well put out a defenders wanted poster around Govan. It's a defensive crisis, plain and simple. With Balogun Sutar and Casanwirjo crocked, we're left patching things together with duct tape and a prayer. Dujon Sterling and Robin Proper tried their best in Paisley, but when you're improvising like that, mistakes happen, and they did. Big ones. The idea of recalling Ben Davies sounds tempting, doesn't it? He's doing all right at Birmingham, and we've already got him on the books. But no, we're probably too busy counting the pennies from his loan fee. If we're serious about salvaging this season, Patrick Stewart and Niels Koppen need to pull a rabbit out of the transfer hat and fast. And let's not skirt around the bigger picture. 12 points behind Celtic, 12. Even if we pull off a miracle against them in the New Year's derby, the damage is already done. That first half showing against St. Mirren was criminal. No energy, no drive, no clue. It's not the first time either. Clement's had to make half-time subs in over half of our games this season. That's not tactical genius. That's trying to mop up the mess from a lack of effort and focus from the start. Look, I'll never wave the white flag in a title race, but it feels like the chance to make this one interesting slipped away with that Paisley disaster. Even if we take 3 points from Celtic, they won't be sweating too much, and that's on us again. Here's one for you. If Rangers can't fix the defensive mess before the Old Firm clash, is it even worth hoping for a miracle this season? Or should we start planning for a full rebuild come the summer? Chris Sutton's loving this, isn't he? You can almost hear the smirk as he paints Clement as the next victim of Brendan Rodgers' serial Old Firm dominance. 7 matches without a win against Rodgers. It's not a stat you want etched on your CV, especially when the Rangers' job is already a pressure cooker, and the fans are losing patience quicker than a referee dishing out yellow cards at a derby. Let's be fair, though. Sutton's got a point about the ups and downs under Clement. The League Cup run gave us a wee glimmer of hope, but then St. Mirren happened, and any momentum vanished faster than a pint of lager at a packed Ibrox bar. It's been 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and with the Celtic game looming, Clement doesn't just need a result. He needs a miracle to turn the tide. Rodgers, on the other hand, has been annoyingly consistent. His lot don't even need to hit top form to get results while we're out here grafting like mad just to keep up. And that's the real kick in the teeth. When we're at full pelt, they're cruising in 3rd gear and still pulling ahead. The gap's back to 12 points, and the mood among the fans has gone from frustration to outright fury. If Clement doesn't deliver on Thursday, the calls for change could drown out the final whistle. But let's ask the big question Sutton's implying but not outright saying. If Clement loses to Celtic again, is it time to accept that the Belgian experiment has failed and start planning for yet another new manager in the dugout? If you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, you're missing out. Explosive news about Rangers that'll leave every fan stunned. Go check it out now.